Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Gates channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Family tensions, old wounds, secret agendas, and dangerous schemes are about to collide in Fairmont, Crest, creating a week where almost every relationship seems to be standing on unstable ground. As the story moves toward August 24 to 28, the Beyond the Gates spoilers promise that Nicole and Kat will find themselves on opposite sides of a painful clash, while Haley continues playing a dangerous double game by pressuring Naomi even as she works behind the scenes to manipulate Bill. But before those new storms arrive, the events of the previous week revealed just how many secrets have already been set in motion, and how close several characters are to discovering the truth. On Monday, August 17, tensions continued to rise between Tomas and Naomi as Tomas delivered a case file to Bill at the hospital. Bill appreciated the gesture, but Tomas's visit took another turn when Vernon entered the room, and after Tomas left, Vernon made sure Bill was doing all right before getting to the real reason he had come. Vernon confronted Bill about his attachment to Danny and demanded to know what his intentions were toward his ex-wife, but Bill insisted that Haley was the woman he was committed to and that his feelings were not the issue Vernon suspected. Vernon remained unconvinced. And later, when he spoke with Anita, the two acknowledged that they had already confronted Danny and now Bill, leaving them with little else they could do for the moment. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Kat visited Anita to unveil their newest handbag design, hoping to name it after Nicole, only to discover that a competing company had already released a bag called the Nicole. Their backup idea was to call their creation the Nikki, but Anita immediately warned them that the nickname carried an unpleasant history because Leslie had repeatedly used that name for Nicole, urging them to speak with Kat's mother before making such a decision. Elsewhere, Jacob and Isaiah met at Uptown, where the brothers discussed the complicated situation involving Naomi and Bill, while Isaiah also shared an update about Eva and the difficulties she had been facing. Over at Caffeine Fix, Tomas hoped to spend some time with Kat that afternoon, but she was far too excited about work to step away from the creative momentum she was feeling, leaving Tomas disappointed as he walked away alone. Later, Isaiah arrived and found Kat in a much better mood, and the two enjoyed an easy, lively conversation that revealed just how much he admired Chelsea Kat's handbags, even mentioning that he had bought one for his mother. Kat rewarded his enthusiasm by giving him a preview of the company's latest purse, creating a warm moment amid the growing tension elsewhere. Chelsea then went to see Bill at the hospital, checking on him while also speaking harshly about Haley. But Bill defended Haley by explaining that she was elsewhere in the hospital doing charitable work, making it clear that Chelsea's judgment of her was not going to change his mind. At the same time, Andre found himself dragged backward into a past he thought he had left behind when he came face to face with Heather Wallach. Their reunion immediately stirred memories of the man Andre used to be, and Heather teasingly reflected on his jet-setting playboy lifestyle while admitting that she had been the one who sent Danny the bottle of champagne. Their conversation turned toward London and everything they had once shared, and Heather's flirtation escalated when she kissed him, but Andre quickly reminded her that he was married and no longer the same man she had known in London. He hurried away from the encounter, yet the damage had already been done, because the meeting left him unsettled enough to seek refuge at Uptown, where Grayson served him drinks. Jacob offered Andre something to think about concerning the complicated Bill and Danny situation, and Andre remained visibly troubled until Danny finally arrived and took him home, unaware of just how much the unexpected reunion had shaken her husband. Tuesday, August 18th, brought another round of frustration for Bill, who was growing increasingly impatient with his hospital stay. His desire to connect privately with Haley was repeatedly interrupted when nurses Shanice and Ashley deliberately separated the couple as they attempted to get close in his hospital bed, especially because every encounter sent Bill's heart rate racing. When they continued despite the nurses' objections, Ashley finally called security and had Haley removed from the hospital for the rest of the day, leaving Bill furious and even more determined to escape the hospital as soon as possible. Outside that drama, Martin and his team managed to win the charity basketball game, even though Smitty's performance on the court was an absolute disaster, with Ted, Carlton, and Kial helping the congressman's team secure the victory. But as soon as the game ended, the conversation in the locker room became much more personal. Carlton admitted to Ted that he and Nicole were no longer seeing each other and that he had decided to remove himself from the situation. Ted confessed that he had never been comfortable with Carlton dating his former wife in the first place, and Carlton slowly accepted the idea that if he and Nicole were truly meant to be together, their relationship would have happened long ago. Meanwhile, at the country club dining room, Vanessa warned Nicole about Heather, explaining that Joey had specifically cautioned her against becoming too close to his sister. Vanessa, however, still did not understand what Joey was so worried about because she found Heather entertaining, and even Danny had apparently enjoyed her company. Nicole urged Vanessa to listen to Joey because he had known Heather his entire life, but Vanessa ultimately headed toward the casino while Kial joined Nicole at the table. Kial and Nicole were determined to mark their new exclusivity in a meaningful way, and Kial asked Nicole to join him at his son's upcoming open mic performance. At the casino, meanwhile, Vanessa once again pressed Joey to explain why he had such a serious problem with his own sister, but the casino owner refused to reveal everything he knew. Eventually, Vanessa had no choice but to accept that Joey was simply not going to tell her the full story about Heather. Eva was also trying to force her mother to confront reality, telling Leslie that nothing was ever going to happen between her and Ted, while questioning whether Marcel would actually make an effort to be there for her. Marcel had been absent lately, and Eva wanted her mother to recognize that reality rather than continuing to chase something that might never happen. Their conversation was interrupted when Ted arrived to see Shanice, forcing Leslie to sit nearby and watch as the man she still carried feelings for spoke to another woman. Ted told Shanice that he wanted to take their relationship to the next level and meet her brothers, a revelation that surely cut deeper into Leslie than she wanted anyone to see. Instead of confronting Ted, Leslie called Marcel and left him a message asking him to put more effort into their relationship. Later, at home, Martin and Smitty finally had some quiet time together without the teenagers around, allowing Martin to bring up the idea of taking another exotic vacation, just the two of them. But Smitty had to disappoint his husband because he could not go anywhere until he discovered the identity of the Impaler, the mystery that continued to consume his attention. By Wednesday, August 19th, Nicole found a way to give Noah the opportunity he had missed after he failed to secure a spot at Uptown's open mic night. She created a personal open mic experience inside her home, inviting Vanessa, Deanna, Vernon, and Anita to watch Kial's son perform a love song. Noah was extremely nervous with Anita watching, but his anxiety quickly proved unnecessary because Anita genuinely enjoyed his performance and offered to mentor him, turning what could have been an intimidating moment into an unexpectedly hopeful opportunity. Across town, Danny tried something completely different to reconnect with Andre, purchasing adult coloring books designed to encourage conversation and help them spend meaningful time together. The unusual activity worked well enough to get them talking, and the two eventually apologized to each other, with Danny admitting that she had prioritized Bill's needs over those of her own husband, while Andre confessed that he had dealt with his feelings by drinking instead of coming home and speaking honestly with her. Yet even as they apologized, the most important truths remained buried between them, because both Danny and Andre were still keeping secrets. At the hospital, Shanice and Ashley learned that they were not going to be punished for separating Bill and Haley, or for having Haley removed from the hospital. Apparently, because Monica supported their decision when she spoke with the husband and wife. Naomi then arrived expecting a simple girls' night with Ashley, only to discover that Jacob had arranged something much bigger. He had organized a surprise party at Ashley's home specifically to cheer Naomi up, and Grayson was included in the celebration, giving Naomi a moment of warmth and companionship while so many other parts of her life remained uncertain. Meanwhile, Isaiah stopped by Joey's place to revisit their shared past, particularly the moment when Joey had once saved his life. At Orpy Jeans, Eva waited for Isaiah, but her evening took an unexpected turn when Marcel and Leslie arrived for a date. Eva overheard Marcel asking Leslie to move onto his boat with him, a grand romantic gesture that Leslie immediately rejected because she insisted she was not a boat person. She also seemed unwilling to abandon the high-life lifestyle she had become accustomed to, leaving Marcel confused and hurt. When Marcel temporarily stepped away from the table under the excuse of needing to leave, Eva once again tried to make her mother see reason, and this time, Leslie listened enough to apologize when Marcel returned, even singing a song for him as her own grand gesture. Thursday, August 20th, saw that fragile reconciliation collapse almost as quickly as it had formed. Back in Leslie's hotel room, Marcel could not understand why she would rather remain in the hotel than live with him aboard his boat, especially when she clearly loved the luxurious lifestyle and believed it was what she deserved. Instead of compromising, Leslie ended whatever relationship she had been building with Marcel, and that sudden decision opened the door to a flood of memories from the past. The episode then pulled viewers into flashbacks, showing Leslie when she was still working as a bartender and first began connecting with Ted. She had to remind Ted that they had crossed paths before. But as those memories unfolded, it became clear that their connection had slowly grown stronger and stronger, first becoming an emotional affair before eventually turning into a full-blown love affair. Back in the present, Eva admitted to Isaiah that she believed her mother would never truly get over Ted, while Isaiah continued revealing pieces of his own history, including the story of how Joey had once saved him. At the hospital, Bill and Ted found themselves bonding over their shared history, discussing the past, until the story once again moved into flashback territory. We saw the moment when Bill tried to stop Ted from leaving to meet Leslie, but Ted went anyway, crossing the line and beginning his affair with Leslie in full force. Elsewhere, Nicole's happiness with Kial was briefly shaken when Kial accidentally broke a glass while helping her clean up after the impromptu home open mic night. The broken glass immediately triggered painful memories because it reminded Nicole of a time when she and Ted had been together and genuinely happy, forcing her to confront how much her past still lived beneath the surface, even as she opened up about how grateful she was that she and Kial had met when they did. While Marcel ended up drinking alone at Uptown with Grayson behind the bar, Leslie took a bottle of champagne and 2 glasses to Ted's hotel room. She knocked, but no one answered, so she left the champagne outside before eventually making her way to Uptown after Marcel had departed. There, she sat at the bar and spoke with Grayson, who thanked her for offering him a job at the clinic, even though he had ultimately declined it. Grayson then made the black magic drink Leslie had created years earlier, and the two shared the drink together as memories of another time quietly filled the air around them. Before the night ended, Leslie made a phone call to someone she claimed she could always count on, leaving another mystery hanging in the shadows as the week moved toward its most dangerous developments. Friday, August 21st, began with Chelsea facing one of her darkest memories. She had a nightmare on the 1-year anniversary of Allison kidnapping her, and Madison returned from her trip just in time to comfort her. Chelsea's parents also sent her text messages because they knew she would not want them making a big scene by appearing in person, but the emotional weight of the anniversary still followed Chelsea into the day. At Uptown, she tried to focus on business while talking with Kat, yet she became increasingly unsettled after receiving repeated calls from an unknown number. Each time Chelsea answered, the caller hung up, and on another occasion, Kat answered instead, deepening Chelsea's fear that Allison might somehow be responsible for the mysterious calls. Haley finally visited Bill at the hospital for the first time since being thrown out, but the visit came with strict conditions that neither of them appreciated. Bill was furious about the restrictions and increasingly desperate to leave the hospital, while Haley found herself clashing with Ashley more than once, including when she had to leave to retrieve Bill's laptop from his office. At Orpy Jeans, another uncomfortable encounter unfolded when Heather crossed paths with Danny and Andre, immediately putting Andre on edge because he realized the two women already knew each other. Danny innocently invited Heather to sit with them while she waited for her food, unaware that Andre was silently struggling with the history he had tried to bury. The tension grew when Randy arrived, clearly following Heather and keeping watch over Joey's sister. While Randy was doing so, Haley called him and asked to meet, and the two later spoke privately at Caffeine Fix. Haley gave Randy an update on their scheme, and together they decided that what they had originally wanted to accomplish in Street Barts would now have to happen in Fairmont Crest after Bill was released from the hospital. Haley admitted that she felt more invigorated than ever and wanted to make the plan succeed more than she had before, even though Bill's new pacemaker would make everything considerably more difficult. Yet Haley was already thinking beyond the obstacle, declaring that she would be prepared to give Bill a megadose of the toxin when the opportunity came. At the same time, Tomas called Madison and asked her to meet him at Bill's office, where an unexpected legal development was waiting. Mike Davis had arranged the meeting concerning Madison's case through Tomas, despite the fact that Tomas was not actually involved in the case. Naomi was stunned when she learned what had happened, and the situation became even more serious when Mike arrived and announced that he wanted a settlement. Naomi said she would discuss the matter with Madison, but made it clear that she would advise her to reject the offer. Tomas, however, undermined Naomi by arguing that they should at least consider it, and he nearly convinced Madison to settle before Naomi managed to change her mind. Naomi later told her father about the way Tomas had behaved, and Bill responded with fury, confronting his junior partner and ordering him to stay in his lane. But the legal conflict was only one part of the chaos unfolding around them, because Danny and Haley also became embroiled in a heated confrontation inside Bill's office. Meanwhile, Andre went to Heather's hotel room because he knew he needed to confront the woman who had suddenly re-entered his life. Heather already knew he would come, and Andre tried to convince his former lover that he was deeply in love with Danny and that Heather needed to stay away from his wife. Heather agreed that she would, but only if Andre gave her something in return, leaving it strongly implied that what she wanted was the incriminating photograph that could give her leverage over him. And now, with all those secrets hanging over Fairmont Crest, the story moves into the week of August 24th through August 28th, where the pressure is about to become even more intense. On Monday, August 24, Chelsea will once again find herself haunted by a mystery that fuels her old fears, but Kat will become a source of comfort as Chelsea struggles to keep her panic under control. Leslie, meanwhile, will receive the cold shoulder, while Anita and Vernon put Danny directly in the hot seat and demand answers. At the same time, Ashley gives Haley exactly what she wants, creating a development that could bring Haley one step closer to the dangerous plan she has been quietly preparing. Tuesday, August 25th, promises even more upheaval as Heather begins toying with Martin and Smitty, potentially dragging them into a situation they may not fully understand. Vanessa will decide that a major overhaul is necessary, while June steps in to bolster Tyrell and offer support when it is needed most. Andre will be forced to confront his past once again, proving that Heather's return has not simply been a brief disturbance, but a wound that refuses to close. Chelsea, still struggling with the fear surrounding the mysterious calls and the memories of Allison, will begin projecting her panic outward, while Randy arrives with an intriguing update for Joey that could change how he views the situation involving his sister. By Wednesday, August 26th, Danny's search for answers will be cut short just when she begins getting close to something important. Mona will hustle Joey, potentially turning the tables on the casino owner in a way he never expected, while Carlton experiences an unexpected run-in that could force him to revisit matters he thought were settled. Ted will have heavy words for Nicole, bringing painful emotions back to the surface and potentially reopening wounds surrounding her past relationships. And as the pressure continues building, Heather will finally lash out, allowing her anger and frustration to explode rather than remain hidden behind her usual confidence and manipulation. Thursday, August 27th, brings another major collision of personal and professional interests when Bill approaches Naomi with a proposition. Tomas, meanwhile, leans on Eva, placing pressure on her at a moment when she is already caught between the complicated relationships surrounding her family. But perhaps the most emotionally charged development of the day will come when Nicole and Kat clash. Their relationship has often carried warmth and loyalty, but this confrontation threatens to expose the tension beneath the surface, especially after everything Chelsea Kat has been dealing with and everything Nicole has been forced to confront about her own life. Elsewhere, Isaiah confides in Jacob about something important from his past, while Ted makes a dangerous choice by hiding the truth about Andre, potentially protecting one man while putting another secret even closer to exposure. Then Friday, August 28th, arrives with Fairmont Crest already stretched to its breaking point. Anita will waver over a major opportunity, struggling with whether the potential rewards are worth the risks, while Vernon immediately switches into crisis mode when trouble strikes. Haley will continue her relentless campaign against Naomi, even as she keeps hustling Bill behind the scenes, proving that she has no intention of slowing down despite the obstacles standing in her way. Smitty will also unknowingly trigger anxiety for both Chelsea and Kat, meaning that even an innocent action could send old fears spiraling back into the present. And just when Jacob may think he has enough problems already, Elon arrives with disturbing news, setting the stage for yet another mystery and leaving Fairmont Crest heading toward a future where almost every secret seems destined to collide.